men and women to bring forth different prophecies. Second Chronicles 20:20 said, trust the Lord and be established. Believe his prophet, you're going to prosper.
Right.
So what it's saying is that if you believe the prophet's word, you're going to profit because God going to put in the prophet's mouth what to say to you. Then Second Chronicles 26:5, and said that he sought the Lord in the day of Zechariah, who would understand in the visions. As long as he sought the Lord, God made him to prosper. So for people to prosper, they got to seek God at all times. There's a story in the Bible. Get your book, Second Kings, the 17th chapter of Second Kings, and about the 8th verse. What do it say?
8th verse says, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel.
Go ahead.
And of the kings of Israel which they had made.
Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God.
See, when you do things that's not right against God, then every secret comes out. No matter what takes place, it has to come out because God had nothing to do with it. Now look at the First Kings real quick. The 17th chapter, and let's begin to read about the 8th verse. First Kings 17 about 8.
Yes.
So we're talking now about prophetic words that come out of leaders' mouths. What do it say?
And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee.
Now, look what it's saying now. I've commanded a widow woman to sustain thee. So God commands people to do certain things. And when he commands them, they can't do nothing but to do that.
Obey.
You see what I'm saying? Sustain you means to give you everything that you need for your journey or what God wants you to do. Keep reading for me.
So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city.
Now remember now, this is the same prophet that told Ahab, said there'll be no rain, no dew upon this earth for 3.5 years according to my word. And God let a raven, Dr. Jefferson, sustain him for 3.5 years.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Sustain him. The raven brought him meat in the morning and meat in the evening, and he drank of the brook. But by and by, the brook dried up, and the raven stopped coming. And God said, I got a widow woman down the road I prepared to sustain you. God's always got something prepared for you. See in your mind, if you're going through something, you need food in your house, your car note or house note is due, say, God got somebody or something that's going to sustain me. But I got to wait on the Lord until he do it. The writer said in Hosea 4:12, therefore return unto 4:6, return you unto the Lord, and say, keep mercy and judgment. You know what I'm saying? And they said, wait on the Lord continuously. You got to continuously wait upon God to do what he wants you to do. But don't give up, because God got a plan for your life. When he goes to the gate, the woman is picking up sticks to die with her and her child. And he said, what you doing? I'm picking up sticks to eat my last meal. And he tells the woman, said, thus said the Lord, feed me first, and then feed yourself. And the meal barrel that's in your house will not run dry, because we're going to eat up together. Let's read it. Keep reading. Go ahead.
Behold, the widow woman was there gathering the sticks. And he called to her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel that I may drink. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand.
Go ahead.
And she said, as the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but an handful of meal in a barrel.
Go ahead,
and
sir.
a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks.
Go ahead.
That I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat and die.
She all in her mind to die. Don't think about dying. think about living, because God is a God of life. When they asked Jesus, about the 7 brothers, Dr. Jefferson, the 7 brothers, and one married a woman, and he died. And then another married the same woman, he died. See, in those days, it was a law that you had to marry the woman if she had no children. So on down to the 7th son, they all died. See, in the resurrection, whose wife she gonna be? Jesus said these words, "You do err, not knowing the scripture, nor the power of God." In the resurrection, they neither married nor given in marriage, but as the angels of God, showing that when we leave this earth, we don't marry no more. Why? Because we're married to Christ already. And then he said, God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. So then he said he's the God of the living. You see what I'm saying? So then Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they still live right now. So keep reading. Go a little further there.
And Elijah said unto her, "Fear not, go and do as thou hast said.
Don't be scared to do it. Go ahead on.
But make me thereof a little cake first.
Let me eat first. Go ahead.
And bring it unto me, and after make for me and thee and thy son. For thus said."
If you make it for me, then give me some more. He said, give me some more now. In other words, they're going to eat this cake, then go make for me and you. Go ahead, and your son. Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth.
In other words, it won't fail, and trust me, God will never fail us. If you trust God, he can never fail you. He will never fail you. He cannot. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because he's who he say he is. He's God all by himself. Then another story about a lady. What verse was that?
That 15th verse.
15th verse. About a woman who her husband died, and she had no money. She had nothing, and she told the prophet, "Listen, my husband was faithful, and he died. Now they're trying to take my sons and put them in to work and sell them, and I don't have nowhere to go. What you got in your house?" As the Lord liveth, all I got in there is just a little cruse of oil. And that cruse of oil that she had became all that you won't believe and made her rich.
Yes.
Because she learned, she was learning that God opened doors for those who have faith in him. In Romans the 4th chapter, 17th verse, he said, God, even God, who quickens the dead and calls those things that be not as though they were. How many times have you opened your mouth and said something? And then you said it, but you wasn't really thinking about it. And before you know it, it came to pass.
Yes, yes.
How many times you done did that?
Quite a few.
Because you opened your mouth and say it.
Right.
The woman said she don't have no food. The other woman said that this is all I got left. But I need to eat this and go on and die. But the prophet talked life into her. Said that thus said the Lord, you ain't gonna die. When he said that you're gonna eat and drink, until the day the Lord bring rain on her, he told her she's not gonna die.
Right.
But her words was negative, his was positive. You know what I'm saying? Right. Now can you jump on to 2 Kings right quick again? In 2 Kings, the 4th chapter, real quick. And let's begin to read about the 8th verse. What do it say?
Okay, the 8th verse.
8th verse. The 4 and 1. We're going to read that. The 1 and 1 first. Yeah.
Now therefore cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elijah, saying, Thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord.
In other words, fear the Lord brought me, he obeyed God. Go ahead.
And the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen.
Go ahead. Bondman means to put under work. In other words, to work and to pay off this debt. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, and then thy servant, my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord. And the creditors come to take him unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. And Elijah said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house?
What have you got in the house? Go ahead.
And she said, Thine handmaid have not anything in the house save a pot of oil.
In other words, I just got a pot of oil in the whole house. Now, it looks like that pot couldn't do nothing, but because Malachi 2:7 is in play, the priest will keep knowledge. You seek the knowledge at his mouth. She has sought the knowledge from his mouth. Go ahead on. Now, he takes his pot of oil and read it for her. Go ahead.
Then he said, Go borrow the vessels abroad of all the neighbors.
Go everywhere you can and borrow vessels. Not a few. Borrow a lot of them.
Right.
Why? Because God's finna make you rich, pay off your debt, and take your sons, and give you your sons. Go ahead on.
Even empty vessels, borrowing not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee.
Now notice something. Shut the door upon thee and on your sons. Go ahead.
And shall pour out into all those vessels. And thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him and shut the door upon her and upon her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out.
And now just imagine now in your mind, the sons bringing all these vessels from everywhere, from neighbors down the road, from those up the street, or whatever the case may be, bringing all these vessels, and they go into this door, like Matthew 6 said, you enter into the closet and shut the door. And they take this vessel, and they pour oil out of one little pot and that pot. And the strangest thing, Dr. Jefferson, is that the more they poured, the more the oil showed up.
Yes.
They said that vessel aside, that vessel aside, that vessel aside, and it kept pouring and pouring and pouring, and wouldn't stop.
Right.
It didn't stop until the pan stopped. Let me say it again. It didn't stop till the pan stopped. If they'd have borrowed enough pan, they'd be pouring oil right now.
Yes, sir.
But it stopped because the pan dropped. Read it. Go ahead on.
So she went from him and shut the door upon her and upon the sons who brought the vessels to her. And she poured out. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son,
Give me another. Go ahead.
Bring me yet a vessel.
Go ahead.
And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more. And the oil stayed.
The oil stopped. When you stop doing what God said do, it stops you.
Yes.
All the vessel was gone, but she had enough to get rich. Then she didn't just do it. She went back to the prophet again, Malachi 2:7, the priest of Keeknada. She said, now take your oil, pay off the debt with it. See what I'm saying? And then do whatever you need to do and keep the rest and live off of it. Go ahead on.
Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, Go sell the oil and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest.
In other words, he gave her a plan. God got a plan for our lives.
Yes, sir.
All of our lives. It's called purpose.
Yes.
When the purpose gone, we leave the earth. Her purpose was, her husband had died. She had nothing. She went to the priest, and the priest gave her a purpose of what to do.
Yes, sir.
See, all through the Bible, when the prophet said something, it come to pass if that person is a prophet. But the Bible says, I've tried them to say that they say they are prophet, and I found them liars. Everybody not prophet. If it comes to pass, then God spoke it. If it don't come to pass, the Bible, don't be afraid. I have spoken that prophet. There's all kinds of things in the Bible that I ain't. Okay, for instance, a certain man named Elijah would come by a certain woman's house every day, and then she noticed them coming through there. People notice people that come around when God dealing with them. And she told her husband, this man been coming through this way a long time, and I think he's a godly man. Can I, she asked the wife, can I put a little table upstairs up there? And can I put a little stool in there? And can I put a little table in there and a bed he can sleep in? He's a man of God. Her husband said yes. And she did that. And the prophet came through one day, and he stayed there a couple of days. He asked the servant, said, she's a Shulamite woman, don't she have? So she got everything. She stayed with her people. You know what he gave her? Her husband was old. And the woman said, she don't have a child. He said, at this time next year, the time of life, you're going to have a son. Why? Because you served me. When you serve not only the prophet and serve one another, God always blesses.
Yes.
And trust me, it's a good story because at a certain time that year, she had a child. And the Bible said the child was grown, the child grew up.
Yes.
In the field one day, and gleaming in the fields. And he said, my head, my head. And his father said, take him to his mama. The grown man went and sit on mama's knee and died. And he died. And she said, she took the child and carried him upstairs where the man of God slept and laid him on the bed. Told her husband and said that I need a young man to carry me somewhere. I need to go there, here and there. He said, it's not the new moon, not the Sabbath day. He said, where you going? He said, all is well. All is well. She never said the boy was dead. Right. They tell him that down time he was dead. They go down to the prophet, and the prophet said, you'll come to Shulamite woman. Go see it's all well with her. And he says, all well with you? It's all well with the son? It's all well with the husband? And she said, all is well. Wow. She never talked about the boy being dead. Right. Then she got to the prophet and hold his feet and said that my son is dead. Did you come to call my sins upon me? After all, this boy probably about 20-something, in his 20s, to call my sins upon me. And then the prophet said that God had hid this thing from me. And he tried to send his servant, go ahead with my staff. He said, except you go, I'm not going to go. Yeah. And then she went with him, but the servant put the staff on the man, and there was no life in it. That the prophet comes in, laid on it, put his mouth to his mouth, his eyes, and blew in it. He said, just blew in it. Then he got up and walked around and did it 7 times. And he got on the boy again. And when he got on that boy again, the boy became warm. And after a while, he sneezed 7 times. And he woke up. Yes. And then the woman said, I know now you're the man of God. Yes. So when the prophet called you for something, Dr. Jefferson, it's going to always be because God sent that prophet or God sent that prophetess. Yes. See, we say things out of our mouth not knowing that God don't put it in our mouth to say it. Yes, sir. It helps people all the time. All the time. You can be helped. Open your mouth and speak positive things. Speak faith. Speak life into people. How many times you spoke life into people? Quite a few. Every time you get on, you get on that what you call it, that Zoom, you speak life into people. Yeah. You can speak death in it. We want to speak life to all of you all. We appreciate you all. We just gave you a couple of places in the Bible to show you that God got people that can help you, and you can help yourself. Stop saying negative things. Say positive things. What I mean by positive things, open up your mouth and say something that grows, something that builds, something that gives life. Cut all the negative things out. And I say unto all of you, you can do anything God tells you to do. Dr. Jefferson, we come to the end of our time and you think you're smart, so let me do all the talking. I know my wife. You do such a good